Yeah, what I'm working on today is a 2007 Honda CRV. This customer took this car to another shop, and they replaced the timing chain, and then they called the customer up and said that it's got bent valves and it's going to cost 3 times as much to fix it. They should have eaten the repair bill on this. That's why it's very important if you're replacing a bad timing chain or timing belt to make sure the valves are not bent before you do the job, because now this thing has to come all back apart again. There's 2 ways you can look at it to see if the valves are bent. One way is to have the lobes on the camshaft opposite the lifter and see if there's a big gap in between there. Another way is with a leak down tester. Okay, and as you can see here, it definitely has bent valves. It's probably got like an 1/8 of an inch gap in between there. And like a whole bunch of the intake valves are like that. So there's no reason for me to check the rest of them because the head has to come off anyways. Yeah, I got the intake manifold and all the bolts out of the exhaust manifold off. There's a lot of stuff that's got to come apart on those. And if you look in here in the intake ports, you can see the valves are open. So definitely all the intake valves are bent. Yeah, so now I'm ready to take the front cover off. Yeah, I got the front cover off and the marks do line up. Yeah, there's a mark on this camshaft and it lines up with right there, and the other one. Yeah, I got the head off and there's at least 4 bent intake valves. Yeah, with these metal head gaskets, you never want to put any gasket sealer on them. And also with these type of exhaust manifold gaskets, you don't want to use it. If you do, eventually the bolts will come loose and it'll leak. What you want to do is reuse this metal original gasket. And I always put never seize on the head bolts, on the threads and the washer. That's so it gets torqued down, it turns easy and gets torqued down properly. And when you torque the head down, you always start in the center and then work your way out. Yeah, and when you're putting the camshafts on, you have to be real careful that the rocker arm doesn't catch the end of the valves before you tighten it down, or it'll bend the valves. Yeah, and the easy way to hold all these rocker arms up when you're putting this on is to put rubber bands around it. Yeah, I got all the valves adjusted. And anytime you replace a timing chain or a timing belt, you want to turn the engine over by hand 2 times without the spark plugs in it to make sure nothing hits. Yeah, and this is the type of gasket sealer I use on everything. It's the best stuff. It's used on all the Japanese cars, like on the oil pans and stuff. Well, I got the engine all back together. Now I just got to get the radiator and the fans and stuff in there. Yeah, I got the radiator and the fans in here. And I always take and dump the antifreeze in through the upper radiator hose, and that way it doesn't get air pockets in the engine. Well, I got it running.